Hi guys, welcome back to What Are You Curious About? I'm your host Kudzi. So guys, today episode 5 is more of a comeback episode. I've been gone for almost 3 months, 2 months already. So 2 months ago I stopped this podcast, not because I stopped enjoying what I do, not because I had run out of ideas, certainly not because I didn't want to have these conversations anymore, but because I could no longer afford going to the podcast studio. Because when I started this journey, I was recording in a beautiful, professional, spacious podcast studio. It had great lighting, great um, camera quality, great. Everything was just beautiful. I loved the environment and not like I was becoming the person I wanted to be. I was feeling myself. Eventually, I had to face the difficult truth, recalculate that actually the podcast costs money, not just not just imali encane, guys. I had to realize that no, the podcast costs almost 1,000 per hour, and at that point in my life I simply couldn't keep up with the expenses. That's where the doubt began to creep in. Like I started questioning myself. And I feel like many of us, we question ourselves once things take a turn, or once that realization hits of, can I keep up with this? How far and how long can I keep up doing this? Can I really do this? I ask myself, will people watch if it isn't professional? And maybe wait until I have money. Maybe now isn't the right time. I had a lot of questions. I had a lot going on in my head, in my mind. So it was at that point I stopped. So days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. I kept thinking about the conversations I wanted to have, the conversations wanted to partake in, people that I wanted to connect with. The passion was still there. The passion was still there. The problem wasn't that I had lost my purpose. The problem was that I had convinced myself that I had convinced myself that I needed the perfect environment for a podcast. I needed the perfect setup, perfect lighting, perfect, like everything had to be perfect. And I realized something, that I already have what I need. I have more than enough, actually. I have a home. Well, I couldn't record at work. I couldn't record on the road. Um, I had a living room. I had a bedroom. I had a ring light. I had a tripod. I had two cell phones. So why not use that? Most importantly, I still had my voice. So we don't stop because we lack the resources. We don't stop because we lack the financial stability. We actually stop because we focus on the things that we don't have, or we focus on the that don't really matter. I was so focused on the studio that I forgot about the initial podcast. God, the podcast was never about the studio. It was about curiosity. It was about conversations. It was about growth. It was about connecting with people who might be asking the same questions that I am. And the dream was never to be perfect. The dream was to show up, be creative. The dream was the podcast, most importantly. The dream was refusing to let circumstances decide whether I could continue or not. And maybe that's when I wanted this episode to be my comeback episode, because I know maybe I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one whose dream had to take a hold. A business, you've wanted to start a YouTube channel, you've wanted to start with your degree, your relationship, a creative project. We've been waiting for more money, more time, more confidence, more support. My journey is that the opportunity is in starting with what you already have. Growth doesn't happen when everything is perfect. It is starting with what you have. starting with what you already have, in whatever circumstance it could be, because growth doesn't when everything makes sense, because growth happens when you decide to move forward despite circumstances, despite the challenges. And today, this setup for me might not be the perfect setup. It might not be the most expensive setup. It might not be the perfect room. Um, this room may not be professional, but this episode exists, doesn't it? This episode exists, and that's more important than perfection. A finished episode for me will always be better than just the ideas that I had of starting one or of creating. Me choosing to continue, even if the journey looks different from what I had imagined initially. And if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Maybe this is the sign. Start where you can and start where you are. So let me leave you with this question. What's one dream you put on hold because life didn't look the way you expected it to? And what would happen if you started again today? Think of it. Could change your life, could change your confidence, could change how you view people and how you view circumstances. For me, it has been a positive outcome. It has been a positive. I've learned to appreciate, I've learned to be grateful, I've learned to look around and actually see that it's not about comparison, it's about being original, it's about doing what fits with you at the moment. Because, yeah, that's how it is, and that's how it's gonna be for as long as you don't put in the work. So if you put in the work, you never know, you might end up in that spacious, beautiful podcast studio. But for now, I see beauty in what I'm creating, and I see beauty in what I have in front of me, and I see beauty in partaking in that and using that to my advantage, and just choosing positivity, just choosing, because now with how things are, it's good to reflect on what we have and the good that we have. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for my viewers that have been listening from day one, that have been with me, that have been patient with me. I appreciate you so much. I love you, and I really want each and every one of us to go back to the drawing board, go back to our drawing board and see what is it that we have to change. Let's not box our ideas. Let's think outside the box. Let's be creative. Use what you have to your advantage and see how that works for you, because trust me, you're gonna be proud. Guys, this is What Are You Curious About? And I am your host, Kuzi. See you on the next episode.